YouTube and David's Twitch here in a moment. Okay, so it looks like we are live.
Much of that for a quick analysis on Sol from you. From you.
Yes, I am in a Sol position. I'm just going off of a certain level here, and pretty much the same thing for BTC. You know, as long as it remains above, to me it looks pretty. It looks good. But we'll have to see. Hopefully, it holds. But let's go over here. All right, I'm all set, guys. Okay, so good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. I'm sure you guys are out working right now. I'm just waking up. The sun's not even out yet where I live. Yeah, the sun's not even out yet. I had to double check. So I'm still waking up. Hopefully, I sound like I am just waking up, but we're gonna do our usual routine. Guys, feel free to ask me any questions throughout this session here. I'm gonna do my best to keep my eye on chat in the Discord, as well as keep an eye out on the stream chat as well, just in case anyone pops in and wants to say hello or wants to ask a question. So we're going to be talking and giving you guys a little update what's been going on. If you guys haven't seen any of my videos recently, I'm still going to go ahead and just go through the usual, just go through the coins that I have and kind of give my thoughts on that, as well as look at like the DXY and some other traditional markets. And from there, we're going to, see what the market on a little bit of a bigger picture looks like to me personally. Without going too far into it, right off the bat, I think things are looking great. My opinion, if things continue to hold and we keep pushing up, I'm ultimately looking for that high of about 25 to 100 to basically be tested. And from there, we're going to be looking for some sort of answer of what the market wants to do. So if we can get up there, putting that higher high, it's going to be putting in this much larger ABC here. All right, orange line, ABC marked out in the blue as the B. I always do this. It's this one that's the low because that's the most recent low. And then from there, looks like we're on our way to making a final push up. So depending on how you want to view this on a much larger scale, this could be either two things. This could be that this ABC here is the bottom, and then we're just going to continue upwards from here. This uptrend is going to last a lot longer, but it's definitely going to take its time and make its way up. So we're going to get a much larger pump. And then from there, we're going to be working on, eventually working our way back down. And then, continuing up from there, something like this. And that ultimately is going to look pretty good. That's just, a more macro idea for the future, but I'm just trying to take this one step at a time. But the alternative is, let's see, let me just redraw. The alternative is if BTC remains bullish and we do come up to test these levels, just keep an eye out on this old ABC playing out, because this is something I have mentioned in the past. And this could be some sort of B leg for a much larger A to a B to a C to a downside. Just in case we do continue to, create those not ultimate lows, but those much lower lows that everyone's expecting. Maybe we're going to do it, but we might have to take a different path to get there instead of going straight down. So those are the two options for a much larger macro move, just in case. Ultimately, like I said, even still, I'm still going to be remaining in longs just in case that we do get some sort of extreme push to the upside to where this is a much larger bull market, like I mentioned before. So let's go down to the smaller time frame just to dissect a little bit of what's going on. Excuse me. Let's see. So you do have this ultimate ABC, like I talked about. All right. And within each one of these waves, we're going to have to go ahead and identify some sort of ABC. For me, I view this as an ABC B to a C. All right. And then it has its own ABC here. It's not the cleanest, but we do have a good set of waves in this little structure here. From there, we have an A to a B, and then we have an A, B, C to a C. And now ultimately, what I'm looking for is some sort of, A, B, C, somewhere, it doesn't, it's going to probably be a little bit messier than what I drew here. But ultimately, I'm looking for a much larger leg to the upside. Another alternative of what could happen is, we have to really focus on this set of price action now. Ever since we put in this low, now whatever happens from here on is what I'm primarily going to be looking at. So from here, if we do get some sort of nice larger A to a B to a C without breaking that high, that is also a very valid possibility that we can, or BTC can absolutely stop short, reverse from here. And from there, I would possibly take some sort of short as an hedge position, just in case. So I'll have to kind of see how price develops from there. But ultimately, I do like this as a much larger setup to the upside at the very least. I'll have to wait for a structure to form here. And from there, I can definitely go ahead and make a decision on what I want to do once price is a little bit more developed. But like I mentioned, as long as BTC remains above that 18,450, it's looking pretty good. I'm very excited. I
Can
hope
you
you
hear
guys are
me?
excited as well. Yes, I can hear you.
Very well.
Did you have a question for me by any chance? Okay. So if it raises above the 18,450, definitely going to be remaining long. I'm not in no rush to take profits. Something that I'm going to be doing going forward that I haven't been practicing as much, but I am going to be implementing this going forward is I have to learn to take as advantage as much of price action as much as I can. The way I can do that is by optimizing what price wants to basically optimizing every move that price gives me. For me, if this is going to be much bullish or much larger bullish structure, I want to see how far this can go. So if I took my profit here just because, let's say we fail resistance or we fail to hold support up here, something that Scopes mentioned before, that the 20,520 level, just because we fail that, we come back down lower, doesn't ultimately mean we're going to come down and, break the lows. I have to remain bullish just based off of what prices give me that we've shown valid support. And from there, I have to take advantage and let this ride as much as I can. If you sell yourself short on this move, it's definitely going to hurt you more. It's going to help. They always say there's a saying out there, you can never go broke taking profit. I like to argue that's partially true, just because you can take profit too early and also hurt yourself just as much as you would not taking profit. So ultimately, this is what I'm looking for BTC. Just keep these levels out in mind as long as you're above 5450. And then the next area I'm looking to test is the 25 to 75 ish. From there, I'm going to take a hedge position. I'm not going to take profit on my long. I'm going to take a hedge position just in case to protect myself and protect the profits I do have. So just in case this happens, I'm going to just let these two positions fight out once we get up there. We can easily just come up here, come back down, and some sort of pullback, and then just continue right up. There's no reason for me to take a profit on that long just because of a smaller pullback. But also, having this larger ABC in mind, I want to take as much. I want to take advantage as much as I can of this price action to the upside. So, let's see. I see Steve here asked a question. I'm at work, so can't talk. No worries. When do you think we may hit 25K? I think it's going to take its sweet time. I don't think this is going to be a quick rocket. I think it might, eventually be an good upside push at first, but it's probably going to consolidate on definitely take its time. I would say probably, if I had to guess, I would say like November, December-ish. I could be dead wrong. For a bullish case sake, I kind of hope I'm wrong, but I want to see this uptrend not necessarily take its time, but I wanted to see it look healthy. I don't want to see just a straight line to the upside. If I see a straight line without any healthy price development, that's going to be a little bit of a red flag to me. Not going to be a deal breaker, but for me personally, that's something I'm going to be looking for just in case. But yeah, I'd say like late December. I'm sorry, early November, late. I'll change my mind. Late November, early December. So I'll have to see where that is. Trying to think of where. Somewhere like in this area. So that's just my personal opinion. Great question, though, Steve. Thank you so much for asking. All right. So I want to move over to ETH. If anyone else has any questions, like I said, I'm going to keep my eye on chat. Feel free to ask me as well. You can ask me in the voice here as well if you guys can talk. Let's see. Scope said we could be in 18 to 28 KH for 8 months. I say I wouldn't think back to any form highs before this time frame. That's also could be very that could be very possible as well, Scopes. That wouldn't surprise me. That's a much larger range to play. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited. 28K is up here. Yeah, to test this area of liquidity. So let's see how long it takes. But I'm definitely on the same page as this is going to be, I'm saying more of a longer move than a shorter move. So let's see. So we want to ETH. So ETH is pretty straightforward as well. I am looking ultimately for this to be an A to a B to a C. And then in here, you do have its own set of ABCs. The ABC within the A is not the best because this B wave is a flat. I necessarily don't trade flats, but I do acknowledge that flats can happen. I'd say 98 to 99% of the time, you usually get some sort of lower, higher, high. I don't necessarily believe that there's going to be flats that occur too often to actually take trades up. All right. Let's see. Sorry, I just had to mute that quick. Okay. So for ETH, ultimate structure I'm looking for. As long as ETH is above that 1420 based off of the macro pivot A, you do have a to a B to a C. All right. But I did take an entry on that 1219. And that is primarily set up as based off of this structure here. Let me just go ahead and because I got to reset this up, folks. I took it early based off of this structure. And, this is something I like to call playing into the C wave. If I think a smaller setup is going to play into a much larger extension to a C, I will go ahead and play the smaller setup within the C to anticipate the next move. And this is exactly what I did. And unfortunately, I did not get a full margin position. I got like 0.8%, which I usually use a full percent on margin here. So me personally, I did not get it, but I'm still taking advantage of it, and we're doing well. The position's doing really well. I'll go ahead and show profits here in a moment. Obviously, it's not going to be as much as before because we dipped a little bit since the peak, but we're doing pretty good. The account's sitting at about 1,000. I 2x'd it from $500 like 6-7 months ago, so we're doing solid here. I'll go ahead and show everything that towards the end, or unless you guys have any questions about account management and all that, I could definitely go ahead and talk about that as well. But if this is going to be a completed setup, I do want to see this happen. So let me go ahead and just simplify. Actually, There you go. That's a lot better. So then that 2026, 2028 region is going to be the high I'm looking for ETH to be tested at. And from there, once we break that high, price will ultimately make a decision. If it falls back below, I will take a head short just to protect the profits I do have just in case. Now, this is something you're going to hear me say or talk about. I do have multiple positions open. I do not plan on taking hedges on everything. It's just whatever structure is the most clear, whatever is the most, much larger, more concise structure on larger coins. So depending on what I see and what forms in the market as price develops, I'm going to be deciding where I'm going to take a hedge position to protect my profits just in case. So ultimately, that's what I'm looking for. But things are looking great for ETH. If we just blast off through here, I'm not going to take profit on my long just because if we break back below that 2033, I'm going to just continue to hold and let's see how far this wants to go. But I'm excited. ETH is looking really good as well.
Nguyen, could you please mute yourself?
Let's see. I'll go ahead and mute him. There you go. That should be good. If anyone needs to be unmuted, then muted, just let me know in chat if you have a question. Okay. Let's see. Let's go over to LTC because this is another Litecoin I'm in a position as well. Litecoin is pretty much the same scenario. I have a much larger structure I'm looking at here, which I'm looking to see form. And I did enter off of this setup here at 49.75. From there, I am looking for a higher high past this most recent peak at 67.57. Oh, I did the same thing twice. So once that happens, okay, so once that happens, this is probably the only other coin I would consider taking a hedge on just because it has a much larger, clear, concise setup. So is he not muted? Oh, do I not have permissions to, shoot. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find a way to. Yeah, I just noticed that, but it looks like I muted him on my end. I didn't do like a room mute to where it mutes for everyone else. I thought Vlad gave me permissions. Perhaps not. Yeah, guys, unfortunately, if I do not if you guys do want to turn that off, just go ahead and right click on the person's name and hit mute. Unfortunately, I do have permissions to mod someone for everyone. So I apologize for that. Just go ahead and right click. I thought I muted him for some reason. I guess not. My apologies, folks. So 67.57, but ultimately I'm looking for LTC to continue to the upside. I'm looking for a much larger push, a much larger, I wouldn't say bull market, but much larger push to the upside to form. And from there, we'll have to see what the next opportunity provides us. So looking forward to that. Solana, I believe Scopes talked to. Oh yeah, Scopes wanted me to do Solana. So ultimately, the larger structure for Solana that I'm seeing is something like this. We have an A to a B, and then we're trying to work on a much larger C. Within each of these waves, you do have a larger set of ABCs within each wave. Oh, shoot. All right. And then that entry is based off of a 2996. And from there, I'm going to be looking for a much larger continuation of the upside. And I'm, I know I said I'm not going to take this, but I am going to point this out. If Sol can get back above 48.65 and it falls back below and remains below, I'd definitely be going ahead and taking some sort of, I would take a hedge position. I don't know if I'm going to. I would take a hedge position just in case. And I'm looking for, like I said, ultimately a much larger push to the upside. The entry is at 29.96. This ABC was a nice, clear, concise setup for me. So I was, definitely glad I was able to get into that position on the way up. And that's pretty much it for Sol. Trying to think of what else I'm in. I think I'm in a, let's see, BTC, ETH, Sol, LTC. What else? I think I'm in, oh yeah, I'm in an XRP long. So at XRP, you do have this much larger, you do have this ABC to the downside here. Oh, shoot. All right. And that entry would have been off of that 43.83. From there, I'm looking for, I might take profit early on this one just because the structure isn't as big as the ones on most coins. But we'll have to see. I'm not going to, sell myself short just because I say that. But ultimately, I want to see that 55, 95, 50, 56 region be tested at the highest high or the most recent high back in September. So we'll see how it wants to develop. If this level fails at 43.83, this next level I'm looking to take in long is going to be that 41.69. All right. Or 41. Yeah, about 41.69. If that is the case, you do have this much larger setup that could be in play. I'm going to be a little more confident in the upside if we do get that, but it's not guaranteed. The reason why I say that is because we have the availability of that first level, or that first smaller ABC within this structure here. So, it could be a flat situation. I don't like to lean on that, but definitely could be some sort of flat situation. But we'll have to see what happens. But I'm taking that short, or I'm taking that long just in case. I'm not shorting XRP anymore. I took profits on that, and I'm just going to let the rest ride. I don't believe I'm in anything else. I think I'm in a Cardano. Okay, I am in a Cardano position. Let me just talk about that quick. So ADA, I am all entering off of. Is it? Okay, no, this is much larger ABC. I'm entering off of this ABC here. And then that pivot or the entry is going to be at about 40 cents. And right now, ADA is kind of fighting in that region. So we need to see what price wants to do. Hopefully by the weekend, like I said, we're going to get a much further push to the upside or some sort of decision. From there, I'm definitely just going to be, I am taking this, but I am approaching this from a much longer swing trade. I don't plan on compounding or doing the other hedge positions like I was talking about before. Unfortunately, I'm just, I'm getting to the point where I'm spreading myself a little bit too thin. I don't actually want to take too many long positions and just focus on maintaining and escalating and compounding every single one of those trades that I have open. Maybe this one and one other trade I might just keep just to keep. The rest I'm gonna, focus on compounding, and we'll see from there. That entry is at about 40 cents. So this could be more of a swing trade. I also did buy some spot just because this is a much larger setup on a 12-hour. I definitely do like this setup on a much longer term. So from there, all right. So from there, we'll have to see what happens, but definitely a good setup overall and longer term. Let's see. All right. That's pretty much it for crypto. If you guys have any questions for me before we continue, please. I got my eyes on chat here. Looks like you're talking about the guy singing. That's funny. Nuan, if you can hear me, I'm not sure if he's still singing, but if you please could mute yourself, guys. If you haven't, if he's still singing, let me just double check. Can you sing, Johnny, better than this guy? Maybe one day. Maybe one day I'll sing for you guys. But to be honest, I just woke up. It's not good for the voice. You got to warm it up a little bit. One day we'll do karaoke night. Karaoke night and trading. All right. So if this one to just double check, if anyone else has any questions for anything crypto related, please let me know now. We're gonna go ahead and move over. I just want to look at the traditional markets / DXY, and I'm probably gonna just wrap it up with that. But we still got a little bit more to go, folks. See, going once, going twice. Sold. Okay. So let's move over to the traditional markets now. Everything looks good, in my opinion. We're gonna go on to the SPY. The SPY looks great. It's holding at 360, 241. And as long as we remain above there, we're definitely gonna be looking bullish. The first area we're gonna test the kind of this area of support and resistance is pocket. But ultimately, if we don't form some sort of ABC within this region, that's big enough for me to be a little bit concerned, possibly something like that. Ultimately, I'm looking for that 49, that high to be broken. If that is the case, we do come up and break this high, I will, definitely going to be more bullish on crypto because obviously, crypto moves with markets. And from there, if it does fail, though, I'm, going to be considering that this could be a little bit more of a much larger reversal, but we'll have to see what happens as it gets there. Let's see. Dow Jones, very similar. It's actually in a little bit of a higher price point, or at least a higher position of where I thought the SPY, and let's see how the US 100 is. But same thing. We've been talking about that 29,633 level. If it remains above there, it's looking great. I think this is still looking fantastic. And if we don't get a break of the high at about 37,000, I'm going to be looking for more of some sort of ABC within this region. And then from there, I can go back and possibly consider the idea of going short. I don't short traditional markets, but I would be a little bit more cautious of that level. Just in case. So let's see. Let's go over. I just want to check the US 100. All right, same thing. It's a little bit different, but long as it remains above that 11,000 level, 11,050, definitely going to be looking a little bit more bullish in the longer term, but we'll have to see how this plays out. The high up here is going to be at 16,783. So as long as price can get above there, or if price remains above here, I'm eventually going to be looking for some sort of test to the upside region. But it can easily, form some sort of bearish setup to sell itself short. And definitely, I would consider that a nice way to continue the bear market just in case. But I'll have to see what happens from there. Now, the DXY. DXY is an interesting situation. Because the DXY can give, hold on, let's look at the much larger structure. Now, I do want the DXY to eventually come down and break 103.85. If it can do that, that's going to be fantastic. Market's going to be looking very good, in my opinion, if that does happen. If not, going back down to like the smaller time frame, I do see this being an available much larger A to a B to a C. If that is the case, we're kind of in this region right now off of this ABC. Did it put in that high? It did. So as long as the DXY remains above that 110, looks like we might have a little bit more retesting on the downside to go for BTC. Markets usually, are inversely correlated. So if the DXY goes up, that means the traditional markets and Bitcoin are probably going to go down. But we'll have to see what happens. See if this level holds here. But definitely something to look out for. If this does hold, we don't get a nice breakthrough, some continuation downwards, I'm going to probably say that the DXY has a good chance, or at least the probabilities are in its favor to come up and test this high, if not break it. It could easily do something like this as well, to where come down, come back up, and then continue downward like there, from there. But I have to keep an eye on that level just in case. All right. I'll do gold. We talked about gold before. Gold has a ginormous ABC on a weekly. If gold remains below 1927, I'm going to be ultimate, a little bit more bearish, but you do have the availability of this ABC forming here. If gold can remain above 1675, I'm going to be a little bit more, or 1670, what is that? 75, 76 around there. If you remain above that, you do have the availability of this C leg having its own A to a B to a C. If that is the case, look for that 2081 region to be broken. Let's see. And that's pretty much it, what I'm looking for gold. Just keep an eye on these levels, but if it continues to remain below 1927, I would say look for this area of support to be tested. If not, you don't have anything back down to like 700, 720 around there. So, let's see. Steve, right. I'm off for lunch. See you later, chaps. Good to see you, Steve. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you as well. Yeah, same here, Johnny. Thanks, bud. Thank you, Scope, so much for stopping by, saying hello, tuning in. I really do appreciate it. I hope to see you on one of your sessions soon. Be good, mate. Let's see. Let's do silver quick. Silver, same situation. You do have the availability of basically this setup for me. I'll go ahead and redraw that. You do have an ABC here, but it's kind of tiny. But you do have something like this as an availability to form something like this. Ultimately, I'm looking for this, either this level to be broken or this level to be broken. From there, I can make a much larger decision of what markets want to do. So I'll have to see what happens from there. But ultimately, that's what I'm looking for. Either just high to be broken to form that ABC, or if the low is broken, it doesn't have to come up there. This could have been the B. And then we can get a bullish ABC off of that $11 region. And I know, silver has the mother of all ABCs, but I'm keeping this in mind. So that's pretty much it for silver, gold, and everything traditional market wise. Does anybody have any questions? Hi, Johnny. Thanks for all the analysis. You mentioned a few times that you will hedge to protect your position. Can you clarify what that means, please? Absolutely, Traveler. That is a great question. So let's go back to BTC here, just to give you an example. So on BTC, I'm going to just highlight the position I'm in off of here. All right. And then all right. So pretty much what hedging is hedging instead of taking profit on a position. So for example, let's say I'm going to go ahead and highlight these two levels just to clarify, just to show you where I would be hedging just in case. So let's see. I want to mark this out. Now you have this level here. I'm showing you what I'm doing. Let's see if we get up to this point. All right, and we take a hedge short. Now, what my goal and my mission with hedge positions is to protect the profit that's going to be locked in here. So the reason why I do this is just in case we do have a much larger bearish setup. Of a much larger time frame. That's a 2-day. I want a 2-hour. All right, in case you do something like this. So let's say BTC does this much larger formation, or pursue this much larger ABC. If we come down and eventually work its way back down here to continue for a much larger continuation of the bear market, as you can see, what it's going to do is it's going to give me an R&R that's similar to what the long is. So what I'm going to be doing ultimately is protecting the profit. So let's say, for example, let's say I'm up, I don't know, let's give an easy number, $300, $400 on a trade. All right, off of this high. If that is the case, I can go ahead, instead of taking profit and missing out on the potential upside, because remember, we don't know if price is going to continue to the upside or flip. If price does flip, when you take a hedge position, it basically guarantees that you're going to be locking in the profit, whatever you made up here. Because ultimately, when we make these decisions, we're looking for much larger swings in markets. So if that does happen, I'm going to ultimately be looking for a lower low if this ABC does play out. The alternative is Actually, I don't know why I did that. Oh, my control disease. Oh, yeah, I could do this. There you go. So ultimately, let's say you take a hedge and it fails. Now, if it fails, this is going to be assuming that this level holds strong and we continue upwards. So now what's happening is you're not losing out on potential further upside. All right. You're taking advantage of the larger swing. You're going to be able to make more money on more upside, because what happens is if you take profit instead of hedging, where do you go long from? Where do you continue to go long from? Unfortunately, there's going to be no good setup unless you do have a nice pullback. But if that is the case, regardless of where it is, you'll have another opportunity, but that's never guaranteed. It could be just a straight shot of the upside. So when I talk about hedging, it's mostly about taking a position against my original idea, just in case that I'm wrong, and I'm going to be securing whatever profits I do have in that region. And from there, I can take advantage of the full swing to either direction. And now if you look at this, I pretty much win on both ends, regardless. Because even if I get stopped out a couple times on the hedge, it's still going to look good. Or I'm still going to walk away with profit. Traveler, great question. I hope that helps. If you need me to clarify a little bit more, I definitely will absolutely do so. Sounds good. Thanks. Jono, thanks, Johnny. Excellent stuff. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you. Let's see. Does anybody else have any questions for me? You guys are doing absolutely fantastic. I see someone typing, so I'm just going to let them. Great stuff, Johnny. Do these videos get archived? I missed the first half. Yeah, so if you go over to David Tech's live streaming channel, you'll be able to see that I'm currently live there as well. I'll go ahead and link the video. Where's Discord? Oh, where the hell is Discord? There it is. There you go. That's the right link. Yeah, so this video will be saved. All right. Let's just pull up. All right. Does anyone else have any more questions for me? I know there's a couple of you still in here in Discord. I know, as well as the stream. I know there's a couple people watching. Guys, if you have any questions for me, please let me know. I will be back later today. Actually, we're gonna do a double header, a back to back. Literally about 12 hours from now. I wanted to do one earlier in the morning, a little bit earlier in the week, but stuff came up, and I really don't have. I was literally, a little bit crunched on time. So. All right. Okay. Looks like that's going to be it, folks. We're going to wrap things up here. Thanks again. See you later for more. Thank you so much as well. Thank you so much for popping and asking good questions. I really do appreciate you. Hopefully I'll see you guys on the next one relatively here soon. If not, I'll be here next week. So thanks again, folks. I do appreciate you. I'm going to go ahead. Gotta go ahead and call it a session. This was definitely a great stream, folks. I really do appreciate every single one of you. So If I don't see you on the next one, like I said, I'll catch you guys next week. Much love. Appreciate you guys. Catch you guys soon.